we can go through life and we can have all sorts of different sources of excitement in our life, sources of inspiration, sources of kind of juicing up our experience or feeling that additional energy or additional intention. Sometimes it's even palatable. Sometimes you can even feel when the excitement enters or when we start to get into that space of excitement. Sometimes it's even, that space of excitement or that different perspective that we get sometimes happens when we have a drink, or it might happen when we receive a check, maybe an amount of money, or close a deal. It's like a win where our perception kind of grows above the horizon. And what I mean by that is that we see things in a different perspective. Like we may have a challenge that we're facing, and we may see that it's just a temporary challenge at that point. Whereas before, we may have been neck deep in it and not really able to have that separate ourselves and have the perspective. What I've been noticing recently, as a result of some communication and some advice from a friend of mine, her name is June, and her name is Reverend June. Actually, she's a very special woman that I met recently, and hopefully I'll be able to share more. I will share more content from her and more perspectives from her at some point. But I was asking her some advice on some matters, and she was saying to me that it's really just about getting yourself into a space of readiness and starting to kind of internally or even verbally pronounce your readiness. And so I started that. And she also shared with me this idea that there's a process involved in certain situations or certain things in life. And for me, like the process, a lot of times in life, I would look towards something external for excitement. It might be that morning espresso, or it might be closing a deal. It might be making a goal. But what I started to experience lately is the idea of, or the experience of, getting myself into a space of readiness, getting myself into a space of excitement, getting myself into that space that I at times might have been waiting for. And that initially, when I get myself in that space, it's almost like a trust. It's almost like, okay, I'm saying that I'm ready. I'm engaging in readiness, readiness for that next level of me, that next experience of myself, that next experience of physical reality as a result of bringing myself into that space. And initially, it was just like a word, I'm ready. And what happened was, as I kind of brought my attention and my awareness, my priority to this readiness, to this space within myself, more and more, day after day, or even moment after moment, I found myself attracting different things in my life where things were just happening. Things were happening as a result of that readiness, or as a result of that next level of me. So there's two things that I'm learning out of this process, and I wanted to share. And one is just deciding that we're ready and prioritizing that readiness, or that next level of ourselves, that next stage, that next part, that more evolved, or that more ready, or that more successful version of ourselves. And realizing that it's a process, and the more we do that, the more we move up the line from point A to point B, and the more we prioritize that, then eventually we're in that space, and we've kind of primed that pump. When you prime a pump, you suck the water through the pump until the water starts flowing from one body of water to another, and then it will continue to flow. So the idea is that we can start now, and we can actually become that person that we want to become. We don't have to wait for any external circumstance, and that internal engagement will actually attract and change our external reality.